Hi guys! In today's video, I'm going to be doing a review of famous and underrated slime shops, and I really hope that you enjoy it. First up, we have SnoopSlimes Lovestruck slime, and I've wanted to try her slime again for the longest time. I first reviewed her I think a year ago, and her slimes have improved so much. So the containers came broken, and this wasn't an issue for me because her customer service was so great and they resolved the problem super quick. I was also really impressed by the slime on the outside of the container because this hadn't dried up at all, so I could just add it back into the original slime and get my full 6 ounce. And as you can see, once it's reactivated, this becomes so thick, and it also clears up really quickly, which is really cool. Next up from Snoop, we also have King Midas, and I wanted to get my hands on this for the longest time because it's scented caramel, and for me, caramel is a super hard scent to get right, but hers is just perfect. It smells like the real thing, and it's so fun to play with. I find that when it's a little underactivated, it makes the best clicky sounds. All the slimes arrived bubble wrapped, and it also came in a bubble mailer, so I think the male people were just really tough with it. And then for extras, she included 2 Zots and also some borax and a little extra card. Next up, we have Cotton Rose slime, which I think is the most underrated shop I've ever reviewed. Their slimes are just amazing. And starting off, we have their 24-karat golden honey slime. I was so impressed by all of the detail that went into this. The first thing that caught my eye was the packaging. As you can see, it comes in a little honey pot, and then it had this film on the top so the slime didn't get stuck to the top of the lid. And then it comes with this little honey scooper, so you don't get to just poke it and play with it like a normal slime. You can actually do other things. And if you do want to poke it, it comes with a little bee charm, and the slime itself actually has some gold flakes in there, which makes such a nice accessory, especially as it isn't scented. I haven't been this impressed with the slime in such a long time. It was so thick and just so impressive. Another amazing clear slime from them was their Under the Sea slime, and this is a super clear blue slime. Again, it's unscented and super thick. I thought the name for this was so clever because all the charms sank to the bottom, so it was kind of like looking under the sea and seeing all the sea ruins and things like that. But the thing that most impressed me about this slime was just how clear it was, and I found it took a while to bubble up as well, but when it did, it inflated loads. I normally find that the shops that do really good clear slimes just do okay white glue slimes, but this was not the case for her slimes. This was just amazing. It had a really tangy watermelon scent to it, and it was so clicky at first, so I felt that it was a tiny bit underactivated, even though it wasn't sticky. So when I activated it, I was so impressed by how thick this went, and it was also super glossy. I only left this for 2 hours before filming it, and as you can see, there's hardly any bubbles. Her Fruit Loop slime was so glossy. I played with it a tiny bit before the video just because she gave me a plastic spoon with it, and I think this comes with every order, but it was so different from just normally poking slime, and I just love playing with it in this way. And I found that when I did poke the slime, the foam beads gave off some colour into the white slime, so it's kind of when your cereal kind of gives off some colour into the milk, so it made the Fruit Loops more realistic, and this also inflated so much. Pink Lemonade is one of the most therapeutic butter slimes around. It's super airy and really soft and spreadable. I just love playing with this because it's so holdable, but I also love the scent of this. And it reminds me of something I used to eat when I was way younger, but I can't remember what it is for the life of me, but it kind of smells like a sweet sherbety scent. Kind of fruity, but not too fruity. Banana isn't always my favourite scent, so I find it quite hard to review slimes like this, but this is actually an okay banana scent. This has a classic glossy base with some confetti at the bottom and marshmallow beads on the top, so this traps a lot of air in with the beads, and I found it turned into about a 12 ounce, maybe a 10 ounce, but it was just huge, and I really liked how much this inflated. Her slimes came with really cute labels on the bottom and they had really nice diagrams, and she also included some slime supplies she stocks in her shop. So there's little snowflakes, hearts, confetti, and then for her extras she included a face mask, some sweets and borax, and also foam beads in a care sheet. Another underrated slime shop that really impressed me was My Slime Obsession, and I've been seeing them all over Instagram and I've been really wanting to try their slimes. The first slime I tried was Magical Mystical World, and as you can see this is such a thick clear slime, and I normally find with thick clear slimes they're quite rubbery and they don't really stretch. But to me this actually doesn't feel like it's been watered down at all, so I would just say this is a whole Elmer's glue bottle put in, which if it is that, for the price is just amazing. The glitters weren't pointy for me at all, they didn't hurt my hands, and I also loved how hollow this was. The camera doesn't pick it up so well, but as you can see there definitely is a bit of hollow in there in the stars and also the glitter, and I just thought this slime was amazing. I normally find pom-pom slimes really hard to play with because the pom-poms are so big, so when I saw these mini pom-poms I was really curious as to what would make the texture like, and I loved it. It was so soft, it added some texture to a nice clear slime, and we also had the nail confetti in there, so it just complemented all the colours, and I would say this is more like a putty texture than the previous slime, but they're both so amazing. My favourite thing about cloud slimes is that they hold designs so perfectly, and as you can see this just arrived in mint condition. It had the prettiest glitters and also charms with it, and I just found this fluffed up so easily. As you can see this has come out straight off the container and it's just started fluffing up really easily, and it drizzled really smoothly. It scented like a mixture of grass and peonies, so it just smells like the outdoors, and I really love this slime and also how dry it is. April Showers May Flowers is scented the same as the other one, and it's scented peony petals, spring lily and green grass, and as you can see this has a really gorgeous design on it as well. It comes with loads of charms in this one, and it's also multicoloured and has iridescent sparkles at the bottom, so this whole slime is just perfect. And when it mixes up it kind of looks like a minty green, I would say. It kind of looks grey at first, but then when you let it sit all the colours come back out for some reason. I am obsessed with plain clear slimes, so when I saw this in my package I was so thrilled. I honestly never get sent clear slimes. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because people are scared they'll melt down, but I always put my clear slimes in the fridge because then you get really thick clear slimes, and also then if it has become a bit sticky you don't get that on camera. And as you can see this one's just so clear, it's unscented, and it comes with a water bottle as well, which I thought was such a nice touch. Loves Me Not is hands down, my favourite butter slime I've ever felt. This just feels like what I imagined butter slime to feel like before I touched it, and it's so nice. It kind of feels like a cream cheese slime. I think it must have some fake snow in there, the kind of like watery instant snow type, and it's just so smooth, so soft, and as you can see it's also textured, but it's just so perfect. I'm obsessed with the slime, definitely my favourite one in the whole shop, and as you can see the slimes were amazing, but this one was just super special for me. Last but not least from their shop we have Oatmeal Choc Chip Cookie, and this was really nice. The slime is like a glossy base, it's really thick. I think it might have a tiny bit of clay in there or maybe some cornstarch, and it kind of has a chewed up bubblegum texture that's already kind of been mixed in, if that makes any sense. It's like styrofoam I would say, so it's not tough and it really inflates, and it smells kind of like a brownie I would say. Everything came really securely packaged with bubble wrapping all around it and also a seal on it, which I was really impressed with. And then we also have loads of extras. She gave me the biggest bag of borax I think I've ever received, some sweets, some little charms, and then loads of things she sells in her shop. We've got some glitters. I'm pretty sure she sells all of these. But moving on to the next person, we have Pigs Not Slime, who is by far the slime queen for cloud slimes. Everybody talks about it, especially the big slimers, and this is just so airy. I find cloud slimes fall into two groups, and either they're really dry and they have loads of fallout, or they're a tiny bit wet and they're really fluffy and easy to play with. And as you can probably guess, this one is a tiny bit wet and super fluffy. I would say this is amazing for beginners because you don't really have to put any work into it at all to make it drizzle. It just drizzles so smoothly and it smells just like cotton. It's so fresh and gorgeous. Sleepy Time is scented just like the name and it smells like lavender, and I love that the charm's actually asleep as well. I think this is such a nice touch, and it comes with some hollow glitters on the top, and I do find the glitters kind of come out on the table, as does the colour, weirdly enough. I don't normally have a problem with this, but I found this colour quite hard to come off, so if you do have a light table, I would not recommend playing with this, but it doesn't come off on your hand, so it's absolutely fine to play on there or on a dark surface. Blueberry Muffin has a really unique texture. As you can see on the top, it's kind of airy and clay-like, but then it's also really not. I wouldn't say this is like a clay slime because it definitely has some clay in there, but it doesn't really feel like a clay slime, so it feels like a bit of a cheat to say that. But I do play with it like a clay slime, so no mean comments, but it's really fun. I do enjoy this, it's super thick, and it also has some black beads in there just as to act as the blueberries. Last but not least, we have a jelly cube slime, and this is one of the really fun ones that you can crush up and make into like a different texture slime, so I didn't actually mind playing with this. It's just the jelly cubes that I can't squish up that I really don't get on with, but this also had some foam beads in there. I do find that the foam beads lost its colour a bit, but I love the smell of this. It was just like a fruity cocktail, as the name suggests, and I loved the texture once you kind of mushed everything up, and it was just kind of like a chewed up bubblegum kind of jelly cube slime, I guess. I love that the extras were actually things I was going to use, and I realised I called her Pig Snot Slime earlier, but it's Pig Snot Slime. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next week.